Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I show the gameplay by Andrzej and Nxg, and this beautiful game complete in just 18 moves. So let's see how the game play. The game starts with the pawn to e4, c5, knight to c3, e6, knight g to e2, a6, g3, b5, bishop to g2, and bishop to b7. And here, this is the first 5 moves, and the position is equal for both sides. As you see in this game, the black try to push the first 4 pawns and try to control of the square, while the white move the knight and the bishop to develop and also allow the king to go for a short castling. And in this position, both are having the equal chance to develop. And the game continues with the white going for a short castling, and now d6 was played. Then d3 from the white, and the black played knight to f6. After this, at the move 8, the white trying to play a f4 to attack from the f-file. And the idea is that the white is trying to push the pawn forward to f5, capture the pawn at e6, and also attack the pawn at f7 and check the king. And with this will prevent the black king to go for a short castling to bring the king to the safe location. So after this move, queen c7 was played, and now f5, trying to push the pawn forward and to capture the e6 pawn. And by capturing the e6 pawn, the white will be in the better position. So in the actual game, bishop e7 was played, and this is one of the tactical blunder which is causes white to capture the pawn and win in this position and get a better in the game. So the better way for this to play would be push the pawn to attack the knight, and if the white capture the pawn, then the pawn will just capture the knight, and if the pawn capture back, now the queen can just capture back, and the king, black king, is still able to go for a short castling. So the queen capture, then the pawn capture, and in this exchange, the white will be using the knight to exchange for the 2 pawns. And in this position, the black is still better. So back to this position, therefore, after the pawn attack, the only way for the white to play is to move away the knight, either to b1 or to a4. So in this actual game, be7 was played, and now the pawn will just capture the pawn, and after this the pawn will just capture, and this gives white a clearly better position. And this is because you have the knight to f4, and this is knight is a very good move because the knight is attacking the e6 pawn, and by attacking the pawn, the knight is also attack the square and also attack the g7 pawn, and this will be a fault as the black has no other way to protect both of these pieces. So after knight goes to f4, attack the pawn, and in the actual game, the pawn push to e5, and this allowed the knight to continue to attack the queen and attack the pawn. And if the knight at the c7 position, the knight also can attack the king and win the rook. And if the knight captures the g7 pawn, the knight can also check the king. So the knight jump from e e2 to f4 is a very nice move, and you have a idea to play the 4 ticks. So back to this position, if you use the bishop to protect, such as bishop to c8 and protect the pawn, then now you can push the e5 pawn to attack the knight. At the same time, the bishop will open up and attack the rook at a8. So if you use the pawn to capture, then now the white can continue to play knight to h5, and after the knight capture, then the queen will just capture it back and check the king. At the same time, the bishop still attacking the rook and will be winning a piece in the exchange. So if you move the king away, then the bishop can just capture the rook, and the white is clearly winning in this position. So back to this position, if let's say the black try to move and save the rook, for example rook to a7, then the pawn will just capture the knight, and after bishop capture, and now the bishop will go to h3, continue to attack the pawn at e6, or the black only have one piece to protect. And if the bishop just go for a check, the king can just go to h1, and if the king go for a short castling, then the bishop will just capture the pawn and check the king. If the bishop capture, now the knight will just capture again, and you have the knight attack the queen, attack the rook, at the same time also attack the bishop. So if you go for the simple exchange, rook takes rook and queen takes the rook, then the queen can just move to prevent the checkmate by playing queen f7. If the queen move do not go to f7, then example, if the queen move to d7, then the queen can goes to f8, and it will be a checkmate. So back to this position, after the knight f4, then e5 was played, and now the knight goes to e6, continue to attack the queen and attack the pawn, and this is a very nice tactics. And with this, the queen goes to d7, then the knight just capture the pawn and check the king. And here the black king try to go nearer the knight, trying to have the idea to trap the knight, but instead the white continue to play queen h5, and this is another nice check, and the knight cannot take the queen because it's been pinned by the rook. Then here the white also sacrificed the knight, and here you can see that capturing the knight will be a checkmate. And in the actual game, the black capture the knight, and with this capture, the white is winning the game. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the white continue to play and win the game. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer, and for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves. And in the actual game, after the king capture the knight, it will be a checkmate, and the continuation will be bringing up the bishop to keep on the attack and check the king. So in the actual game, after bishop check at the 15th move, the white is winning the game. And here the king has no other move to move except to move king to g8. And after this, the queen continue to check by playing queen to g5 and check the king. And after this check, the king only have one place to play is to king f7, and now the queen goes to g7 and continue to check the king. And if the king move to e8, then the white will just capture the rook and also will be winning another piece. For example, rook, the king, the rook, the queen takes the rook at h7 check, and now the king has only way to come out to f7. Then here we have a very nice move by playing a rook take f6, and it's a sacrifice. Here you only can capture back with the bishop. So if you use the bishop to capture, then the queen can capture h7 and continue to check the king. And if the king move these two places, if you move to king e8, now the queen can go to g8 and continue to check the king. And this, if the king move out to e7, and here you can have a queen to f8 check. And now the king only have one place to move, that is king to e6. And after this, you have a very nice checkmate with the bishop by playing bishop to h3, and this is a very nice checkmate. So back to this position. In the actual game, after the queen check, the king moved to e6, and after this move, the white play bishop to h3 check. At the move 18, the black resign the game. And if you want to continue the game, the only way is to prevent the check is to use the knight to block the check. And after this, you can just use the queen to capture. Queen takes the knight, and it will be a checkmate. And with this, thank you.